Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going into the Sparkle & Co. subscription bag, and this is the mani I created with that subscription bag. If you want to see what I got, then let's jump in. All right, so here's Nautical Chick. It was a buttery, beautiful red, such a true like stiletto glossy red, and it was easy to work with. This one ended up being my favorite color, Lighthouse Cove. White and silver sparkle, it was just a glitter heaven. And then Yacht Party is this red, white, and blue glitter. It was very chunky, hard to work with, but pretty once you got the hang of it. And then Be More Pacific is this kind of medium to light blue, and it was just as buttery and easy to use as the red. I got this Sparkle & Co. oil, and on the card, I found out there is a referral program. If you refer somebody or somebody refers you, you both get 18 bucks. So if you want to check this out, feel free to use my name as a referral code and get 18 bucks. And if you want to see how I use these products to do my mani, then just keep watching. Here we are. So I am sitting here pre-mani, just kind of soaking off my dip, watching the beautiful Marla Chris here on YouTube, and just figuring out what I'm going to do with these colors. This is the fastest way to soak off your dip. You guys know sometimes I use peel off, sometimes I soak it off, but if you want to see how I use this, I actually have a video on it. And now I'm getting into the process. So first thing I do is pour a little bit of this dip out, and then I paint the bottom 2/3 of my nail. I do not go up to the cuticle right away. The second dip, I go up to the cuticle, and then I will use a wood stick to kind of trace the cuticle line. The third dip, I go up to the cuticle again, brush off the dust, and then use a wood stick to trace that cuticle line. Then I'm not doing all 3 dips from the cuticle, and it kind of thins it out in that area and does some of the work for me so it doesn't get so chunky. I got a little fuzzy when I hit my solidify and I was trying to get it off. I'll show you guys later in the video how I get it off. But once I do my 3 dips, I solidify and then I go on to the next color. So I'm going to start with my base coat again, dump a little bit out, and I'm doing the bottom 2/3 of my nail, dipping, giving it a second before I brush it away. Now I'm going to go up to the cuticle line and dip the whole nail for my second dip. And brush it a little bit away, and then I use my wood stick to just carve out and trace that cuticle line. I'll do my third dip here and trace my cuticle line. That just kind of cleans it up for you. And I did it a little too soon, dusted it away, and I took a big chunk out. So I'm going to show y'all how I fix that. So I go back with my base, and I'm going to saturate that area I missed pretty good. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on top. And then it doesn't get thick and chunky, and it just covers that area I missed. And because it's glitter, it's so forgiving, you couldn't even tell. Now I'm going to go in with a clear. I always dip a couple of 1 to 2 clears, depending on the glitter shade, just to encapsulate that. Now I'm solidifying, and I'm going to move on to my ring finger. And I'm doing the exact same process with the exact same color. Dip the bottom 2/3, trace my cuticle line. Go up to the cuticle, dip the whole nail, trace my cuticle line. Dust it off, and my third dip, do my whole nail, dip it, trace my cuticle line, dust it off. That's what I do pretty much every time, every nail, every color. That's the process. So then I'm just dipping clear so I encapsulate that glitter, and then I'm going to solidify. Okay, now we're going to go into Yacht Party. Now I made a mistake here, and I did not dump some of the glitter out. And you will see that this was very, very chunky. So the second hand I did, my non-dominant hand, I dumped about half the jar out. It was a lot easier to dip my finger in there, and it was a lot less chunky. What I'm doing is pressing the glitter down Usually I use a plastic bag for that so it doesn't stick to your finger, but I had to send my husband into the kitchen to get me one. So I do my second dip, use the plastic bag to tap down the glitter so it's not pointing every direction and looking all gnarly. And on this one I only needed, I think I did 3 dips. Even though it was chunky, I went ahead and did 2 dips and 1 clear. So it wasn't the normal 3 dips in a clear that I did on the other, but it was such a chunky glitter, it ended up being about the same thickness. Moving into the blue, this one was so buttery and so easy to work with, just like the red. Both the blue and the red, you'll see when we get to buffing, they really didn't need any buffing. They were so beautiful. The glitters were a little bit chunkier, and Yacht Party was the hardest to work with. But honestly, with enough buffing, anything comes out looking great. So I really enjoyed all of them. Now I'm just solidifying, and here we are, all nails painted and solidified. I like to start out with a curved hand file, and I just go around the edges and just kind of reshape my nail. On a smoother dip set like this one, I will just use a buffing block and just kind of smooth out any edges, and that's all that needed. Now this one was the glitter shade, so it was a little chunkier. I filed around the edges. I started buffing and then realized that this was going to be more than a buffing block's job. And that's when you'll see me get my e-file out. Now this is an e-file I got on Amazon for 20 bucks. It was super cheap, came with all these heads. It's not that great, but it gets the job done for 20 bones, you know? So I'm using this thin silver head. Now, this is going to take a little practice before you get comfortable with it, or you might tear up your cuticles. So a hand file and a buffer will get you where you need to get. Don't just jump into an e-file if you're not ready, and please don't use it on your natural nails. I made that mistake. But I just take the silver head and I kind of put it in that line where my wood stick carved out the cuticle line, and then I just kind of clean it up around that area. Now we're to the chunky now. This one took a lot more work. It was so chunky I could actually get a file up in my cuticle line. But I just worked with it a little bit with a hand file. I worked with it with the e-file. I really filed down some of that clear. I made it smooth, and it turned out looking really, really pretty. So I'm just going to finish filing here, buffing, and then we'll be on to the next step. Okay, and so here we are, filed and buffed and ready for the next step. So, next thing I do is go back into Solidify, and I really soak those babies down good again. This is going to take any of the little dust that you filed off, any dip that's not settled down, and it's really going to cement it down onto your nail. That way when we go in with glossy coat, it doesn't gunk up your brush. Some people take a lint-free wipe and then just wipe off any of the excess Solidify before going in with top coat. I don't find that I need to do that. I had these fun little decals already, so I just decided to throw one on because why not, you know? So they're just like little nail accents, and I'm trying to find where I like it, and I just kind of sticker it on there, and it gets sealed under the glossy coat. So I'm using the Sparkle & Co. Glossy 2.0, and I just go in with one coat on each nail, and I'll let you guys kind of zone out and watch while I paint. So by the time I'm done with my last nail, I find that the glossy coat is dry and ready to go in for my second coat. This coat, I just do a nice even thick layer, and the 2 layers is all I do. That keeps them glossy and shiny and smooth for as long as I will keep them before I do another manicure because I'm obsessed and I change them often. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I had a fun time doing this manicure and I really like the subscription bag. I love Sparkle & Co.'s products. I think they're a great company with great customer service and I highly recommend them. If you're on the fence, give it a go. They are amazing. So here's my finished product and my beautiful July 4th manicure. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It really does help support all the work I put in to making these videos. See you later. Bye.